Okay, page A. Vehoyo Mispor Benei Yisroel, yeah? Vehoyo Mispor Benei Yisroel kachel hayam shelo yimad v'lo yisofer v'hoyo b'mokem asher yirmodam lo amiatem yemer lahem b'ni kel choy. So this pasuk is an after of this week's parsha. Yeah. Mokem asher yomelem lei amiatem yeimar lahem b'ni kel choy. Yeah, there's another pasuk here. Shali yimatze, yeah. So this pasuk is a pasuk in Hosea. There's another pasuk there which I'll bring shortly. Gam es ha'elam nosam b'libom. Yeah, which is connected. So the pasuk says that the Yidden, when Mashiach comes, we won't be able to measure them, to count them. And instead of saying, Loi amiatem, that the Yidden didn't do the right thing, Fakert, Yoimar lahem, will say about the Yidden, B'ni kel choy, that this is the Eibishter's kids. And the Pasuk says that Gam esa'elam nosam b'libam, he placed the world in their hearts. So the Alter Rebbe starts, Hine ya'odam wa'elam kotten. Like it's written, he did Abnosbek, Lavadalef, Kameish, Yesh Be'elam, Dalad, Yisrael. What does it mean that Elam Nosam B'libay? What does it mean? He says, just like in the world there are Dalad Yisrael, this Eish Ruach Mayim Afar, Kach, Yesh B'nefesh, Adam, Dalad Yisrael. So we have Dalad Yisrael in us. Skipping the parentheses, 2 lines. Ukameish Kasuv, Gam Es Ha'elam Nosam B'libam, Mibli asher yimatze adam or yimtza. Mibli asher lo yimtza adam is a ma'isa asher asa elikim ereish ve'at seif. He's going to explain later on in the Maimer that through our avodah, the end and beginning become connected. So pirush ha'elam nasam b'libam shel bnei adam b'hainu daled yeseides shalei. Yeah, v'kol ha'elam toli ba'adam. It's all dependent on us. When we work on, when we fix our Dalad Yesedis, Bazehu Mesakin is Kol Olam Kula. You know, like the famous saying goes, you want to change the world, you change the city, the family, first you change yourself. That's how we change the world. So by being Mesakin, the Dalad Yesedis in ourselves, that's how we're Mesakin the world. What does this mean? Gam lahavin pirish dekra the hemshach of the pasuk mibli asher leyimtza adam l'goyim. So let's understand it. So he begins by first explaining the dalad yesedis in nefesh adam. What is the eish ruach mayim afar in the person? He starts with afar. Hine maker haneshamas hi knesses Yisroel nikra b'shem eretz. Let's talk a little bit for a minute about what the Alter Rebbe is saying. Eretz represents the lowest level. In Elikus, what does it mean, the lowest level of Elikus? What does it mean, the bottom of Elikus? The bottom of Elikus is the part of the Eibishter that is shayach to others. The Indian of Melucha, like we discussed many, many times, it's about leadership. It's about leading people outside of you. So that by the age there, Hashem's Eretz, Hashem's lowest level, Hashem's Malchus, that's the Shoirish of all Neshamas. That's where we come into play. It's the Sfiras HaMalchus that created the whole world. When we learn a little bit, Chassidus explains that Yidden are the Ratzon of the world. Right? Why did Hashem create the world? The Reishis, Bishvil Yisroel, Shenikra Reishis, Bishvil HaTorah. So
that part of the Eibishter that created the world, that's what we're talking about. That's what
right.
we're saying
so
is
the
Malchus.
Motivation, that's all Malchus. Malchus is in Malchus, there are Neshamas Yisroel, they're the Zulas. And for the Zulas, he created a world. So it's all All of this happens.
These dollars inside this are intertwined.
All of this happens in Malchus, in Sfiras HaMalchus, when there's room for others, and the others are Neshamas Yisroel, and because of Neshamas Yisroel, He creates the world. So that's all Eretz. All of that is in Elikus. It's called Eretz. The lowest level Malchus is called Eretz. So Makar HaNeshamas, He Knesses Yisroel, Nikra B'Shem Eretz. On page Hey. Beis, the second column. U'kameshikosu ve'aretz hadeim raglei. V'hu bechinas machosi yizbarech. What's hadeim raglei? What is the earth? That's the place where our feet trot. And hadeim raglei, my footstool. So what is Eretz? Hadeim raglei, the place for the feet. And that level, the shehi makar v'chayis kol ha'ilmus. Ukamesha Kosov, Malchus HaMalchus Kol Elomim, that Sfiras HaMalchus is the Shadish, is the creator of all worlds. And he goes back for a minute. Ki be'ein seif baruch hu ba'atzmei uvichvayde kivyochel about Hashem himself. When he says Hashem himself here, he doesn't mean ak. He doesn't mean Pnimius HaKeser. He means everything in Hashem that's for himself. In other words, when I say you, I could mean your deepest, or I could just mean you, the personality, your character. So in Elikus, Chabad of Atzilus, the Midas of Atzilus, all of that is Ein Sof B'Chvayde Uva Atzmai. That's Hashem. In the level of Hashem, the way Hashem is for himself, Itmar, what does it say about it? Ant Hakim, v'lei b'chochma yediyah, v'lei machshavat tfisa be'klal, meaning we have no shaykhs to anything beyond Malchus. V'lei hayu ha'ilum is yechelum le'is avlis yesh me'ayin b'bchinazu. The worlds could not have been created at that level of Zoh or Chabad. Elo, in that level, harehu levade k'me'kedim shnivra ha'ilum, it's the Eibishter, like before creation, after creation. That's mitzad, all the levels higher than Malchus. Rak masha elam es choyim v'kayomim shenizhavu me'ayin liyesh hainu b'bchinas Malchus yizbarich. That's all in Malchus. Being that she'ein melech b'lei am, being that without the nation there's no melech, she'lihiyais am b'bchinas nifrod hu b'bchinas melech. So, Hashem for himself, when a person talks about development, I want to develop my talents. A person talks about their character, it's all for themselves. That's all inside of them. That's not... The whole idea of Malchus is I want to see how effective I am on other people. That's the place of Malchus. What's my impact? That's the place where the world starts. So that's why, in other words, why is it that the Eibishter's Chochmah is not the way we think Chochmah? Why? And if it would be? No, because we only begin in Malchus. Anything that's the Eibishter himself, we have no shaykhs, we can't understand it. So that's it. Mashenkim b'sham midayso, k'mei chakim v'lo yisharihu levad, k'mei shkelim shnivra ilo, v'acha shenivra. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Behine. Open it up. Refreshment. I'll do our station identification for a minute. We had here amazing Ashgacha process. I was very excited by this. At the moment that we learned the Nigla, so this past Shabbos my father was also there by this bar mitzvah. And I mentioned that we just learned this mind of the Nigla. My father said to me, I said it on radio. But he says, I learned it, I liked it. And I said it. So that, for me, that's the one thing that I'm going to remember from the Shabbos. It made it so special, you know what I mean? Like just out of the blue, And it's not, he got married 10 years after that Maimon. It was just random. Mamish as well. So yeah, you have a little siyata d'shmaya. Akoponim. Vehine. Now the Alter Rebbe says an interesting method. We're coming off of, we just learned in Tanya, this hemshik from Perek Mem Vav to Perek Mem Tes. The idea of that Avos Hashem, that his blameless, the Rebbe says, the lower you are, the more effective it's going to be. The more down you are on yourself, the more you consider yourself a nothing, the more effective the contrast. Because I'm nothing, and the Eibishter Mamish, right? What's Alter Rebbe saying here? Eretz. You have to think about what is Eretz? What does it mean to be the lowest level? What does it mean for a person to go out in the street, to wake up in the morning, to go out of his house and say, I am Onav Mikol Ha'adam. Shva Ruach B'fnei Kol Ha'adam. The only place from there is up. I'll say it in a strange way. You know what keeps us down? That we think we accomplished something. We have justifications. I'm not doing so bad, right?
But it seems like the emphasis that the Eretz is going on Knesset Yisrael Davka, not on the singular neshama. It's going on.
Right, that's the makar of neshamas. That's the makar. In a certain way, what is the Alter Rebbe saying in Perek Yudalet Tanya? A dead will be adusa. I could do an Aveda because I'm still Jewish. The Alter Rebbe says, what's the source for yearning? What's the source for thirst? I have to change my matzav.
Everything.
I'm in the lowest.
Can't be complacent.
I'm in the lowest place. I'm in the lowest place. How I can't stay here.
The second you're happy with where you are, you're finished.
Right? As long as a person's like, yeah, it's not so bad. Oh, something. So then he says, because a person is in the lowest place, that's why they have a yearning. The eish, the tzimoin, the thirst of the neshama, where does it come from? It comes from that humility. If a person is has a shtickle ego, so then he doesn't have Avos Hashem. He doesn't have a fire to connect to the Eibishter. He's just thinking about comforts. He's not thinking about connecting to Hashem. So let's see how the Alter Rebbe says. So remember, what's he doing now? He's presenting the Daled Yesodis in Nefesh HaAdam. V'hinei b'chinas malchus yizbarech hu b'chino madrego hatachtena. You have to know that that's the lowest level. Lahachyes lahaves me'ayin liyesh. It creates physical matter. V'hu b'chinas alma di'ezgalya. It's the Eibishter. Think about it in a person. The person as a chitzon. The person, not a show off, but everything about me, that's to show. It's for show. That's what it's there for. And that's called Eilam HaDibur. Right? Eilam HaDibur, that's what Dibur is. Dibur is not for me. Dibur is for everyone else. It's necessarily for others. Kitvar Melech Shiltim. Says the Alter Rebbe, when we say that a king is Dibur, it's not only that that's the way he communicates, that's also the way he leads. Because the words of the king, Shiltain, that's what runs. That's what we experience. The king's Dibur. The Dibur is also Miloshen Yad Beir Amin. To lead. Shal Yidei HaDibur Hu Manik. Shehi hamadrega tachteino liyos am. That's what the Indian of Eretz is. Just it's a little bit off the topic, but just to express this Indian for a minute. One of human beings, one of our the problem, we say the first bracha in Shemoneh Esrei is Atachayne L'Adam Das. What's Das? Havdalah. We make Havdalah in the first bracha of Shemoneh Esrei. We have two ways of being. We have our own thoughts, and then we have what we share with other people. We have Dibur. Many people, there's a lot of confusion with what part of me is for me and what part of me is for other people. And in there's a lot of agmas nefesh and a lot of, we could just leave it with the word confusion. If a person, a lot of tension and problems and
some people are not aware, they're just
insecure.
They're
right.
always performing.
It's mostly in the subconscious. It's not, in other words, one of the things when we talk about Chassidim from Amon, that were like a force, that were like, when we talk about what it means to be matzah, to be bittul, and you're strong, you're firm. It's when a person's machshava is clear, not as an instrument. I'm always thinking about how I'm going to talk to you. No. Machshava is who I am in me. Then dibur, in other words, remember that your interactions with other people, that's the lowest part of you. For some people, their interactions with other people are the highest part of you. Right? So they're living mamash agolos.
Their most used part.
Right? In other words, their whole life, they're reaching up. Oh, how am I going to present myself? All the planning and all the... Huh?
And some people just say a few words and you see inside is
The main work and the main avodah is
inward.
bipnimius. And then in Dibur, we just...
Mikal a little bit.
Yeah, so... No, that's why it says that, I don't remember what the measure is. It says that, I could say the mashal from a singing point, right? In the high notes, people have, some people, they have stress in the high notes, right? So they say you have to be able, in the shower, you have to sing two higher to relieve the pressure. In public, you don't do your most. You have to be able, when you're alone, you could do two more, then the rest...
You set the gauge higher than your...
Right. Then the rest you could use in public. So they say for a teacher, I think it's 4 times. You have to have 4 times more information than what you're actually, what you need for teaching.
You need to understand, first of all.
Right, but when you teach a subject, let's say you're going to give a shiur an hour. Really, you need 4 hours of content for 1 hour of a shiur. I'm saying especially with children. In other words, the children feel if you're a mayan on a sgaber or if you're running out. You're depleted. There's almost nothing left. Right? So that's in the machshava in you. You're building and building and building, and then the dibur is just a little part. It's eretz. It's the lowest part of you. So that's part of what happens. You give this Indian to Rabbi Jacobson. He'll give a 3-hour drasha on this, right? On this nekuda. Why it's so important to reclaim what was by Chassidim, the space of machshava for me. The zulas is right. The other person's that's already minimal Indian. We saw by the Rebbe so many times by Fabrengen that the Rebbe didn't have time to finish. It wasn't when we were Bacharim already, we didn't have that so much. It was very rare. But for many years it was standard that the Rebbe would say it's so late, and then he left the answers for the next week. We can't get back to this, we can't. Wow. Many times. In the Lamids, in the Chofs and the Lamids, also a lot of times the Rebbe would say, it's customary to say a Hadirin, but there's no time. So I'll just bekitzer. I'll go upon him bekitzer. He'll just quickly. In other words, the Rebbe had obviously. In other words, I'm not saying it's a mystery. Who knows the Rebbe? Of course, the Rebbe has more. No, the Rebbe made a point to tell everyone that there's right. That there's much more that he really wants to. So akoponim, that's one of the inyonim in Avodas Ha'adam when we think about this, the dibur and the machshava, just the clarity to remember that dibur is eretz. Dibur is the lowest part. It's just our communication to other people. And the most work is in our machshava, is in us. It's not all the planning what I'm going to say.
But we call me dabar. People call me dabar because of dibur, because of talking.
Yeah, so we discussed this many times in different. Remember, I told we were by a Fabringa once, and Zalman got up and said, "Why is it that even a stone is called a doimon? What does doimon mean? That he can't speak. Really, the word doimon means he can't speak. Everything is about speaking. But we spoke about this from different angles, from different positions. It's, in other words, if you say medaber is the first quality that we have that animals don't have. Not that that's our greatness.
It separates us.
Right, it separates us from the animal. You know, it goes back to the joke. My father repeats, every time we get together, why we don't say Shalei Asani Behema in the morning, because not everyone can say it. But Akol Panim, the distinction of Dibur, that's everyone, Kimat. And if someone can't speak, then it becomes a shaila, if it's Pater Mena Mitzvahs, v'chulu. The Dibur also, Miloshin, Yad Ver Amin, Shal Yidei HaDibur Hu Manhig, that's why Hashem's kingship is called Eretz Shehi Hamadrega HaTachtoina. And in that Madrega HaTachtoina, Li Yisam, that's where a people is formed. Skip the 2 lines. Umimena, Yossi, can I trouble you to turn on the AC? Just a little bit. Yeshakaya. Adu Shteis Chain. Umimena Nimshachim HaNeshamis. It's from Malchus. That's the Eitzer HaNeshamis. K'mayim merazal b'mishneh seif perek yudala de Shabbos. What does it say? Reb Shimon Omer. Kol Yisroel chulu. What does he say? Kol Yisroel b'nei Malachim. What does he mean b'nei Malachim? That our Shoirish is Malchus. Who's our father? Melech, the level of Melech. Keleimar uksiv, the pasuk says, "Ba'atam tiuli, mamlechas kayhanim." That from where do we come from? From this union of Malchus. Mamlechas, says the Alter Rebbe, who lashon peil yoytze. Keleimar, we are the ones shemamshichin bechinas Malchus yizbaret b'gili lamato b'mashem mekablim aleim il Malchus shamayim. We're the ones who reveal Hashem's kingship. Malchus dava. Sheheim b'chinas Malchus yizbarech u'bechinas dibur. He says both, that the Yidden, the Neshamas Yisroel, are from Malchus and we are dibur. K'mesha kasu. Now remember, we have this rule. We have to. This is an inyan and chakira. We have to think about how it works in Hashem. I'll say it in Nigla. Hayoytze min hatoyer toyer, hayoytze min hatome tome. Right? Everything, the creation, everything is lefierach, what created it. So if Malchus created us, so then who are we? We're dibur. We're the medaber. Because where do we come from? We come from Malchus. That's our origin.
But everything came from Malchus.
Good, you have a shayla. U'kamesha kosu. Vayihi ha'odam le'nefesh chaya. V'targum unkulus l'ruach mamalala. Speaking. Hagam, even though, what do you mean? We're talking about the Yidden. The Yidden are Yisroel Olu b'machshava. We're higher than Dibur. He says no. That's in other words, the shayrish of Dibur is machshava. Hainu b'sharshon u'mekoiron. Sheseif ma'isa b'machshava tchila. The Dibur that came out at the end originated in machshava. Havaya b'chochma yasad eretz. You see, eretz was yasad in chochma. Sheyeseid v'shayrish eretz hi b'chinas chochma. V'seif ma'isa b'chinas malchus yizbarich. The end. What is eretz? What's the lowest level? That's malchus. Skipping the parentheses. V'ini amr razal. 2 reasons. Lama nikra shma eretz. Why is earth called by this name? Number 1, that it desired, it wanted to do what Hashem wanted. Its Ratzon was to do what Hashem wants. And it says in Medrash Parshas Bereishis that Eretz Miloshen Ratzui, say Parsha Hey, that Eretz also means running, running towards Ratzui. Kamesha Kosuf Ki V'cha Orutz, I will run, Gedud. Yeah, v'gam miloshin ratzon. So it's ratzui to run and to desire. Keleimar sheroitze la'asos ratzon koino. Elias la ratzonu tshuka mimata lo ma'ilo v'akeilecha. That's all one. The ratzon and the ratzui shebechin as kolos neshamas Yisroel v'mecherim v'shoshon. The neshamas of Yidden. In their mocker, where do they come from? Yesh bahem bechinas ratzui. That's the natural state of a neshama who wants to be close to Hashem. Why? I have the saying before. What am I? I'm the lowest. When a person recognizes where he is, he doesn't want to stay that way. In other words, what does rock bottom mean? Right? What does rock bottom mean? That a person experiences a feeling that it can't get worse. They're in the worst place. And dafka from that worst place, that's where the ratzui begins, that they want to actually change their life. As long as a person feels like
it's not anymore journey.
Huh?
It's not anymore journey to travel. No,
right.
People.
There's no more. Look, we don't. The Alter Rebbe is telling us in a certain way why it works that way. You know, of course, we want to avoid it, but that's exactly what the Alter Rebbe is saying. That why is it why does a neshama have a ratzon to connect to Hashem? Because it's in the lowest place. It recognizes that he's in Eretz. He's mamish in the lowest place. Asher al kein tichla elav yizbarech v'chinas simayin. It has a yearning. U'kmeisha kosuv tzol malacha nafshi kol malacha b'sari. Yeah, right. What's the end of the pasuk? Because he's beres tzil. Because he has nothing. The dovka b'yizbarech. Unfortunately, we have many people during the October 7th, v'chulu, and it's still ongoing on a daily basis, that experienced at that time this feeling of being in the worst possible place. And they talk about whatever promises they made and whatever went through their mind at that time to change their life. Yeah. The dovka b'yizbarech libatel v'likolo b'eresov baruch hu chay achayim baruch hu mamish k'mei she'eso kedim liridasa me'panav yizbarech. On this feeling of Ratzui, the Pasuk says, Shalish hine leisis banav. There are 3 things that can never be satiated. Eretz leisava mayim. We can never get enough water. There's a beer here from the Tzemach Tzedek that because Eretz is on the outside, right? Because the whole union of Malchus is Chitzonius, it wants what's real, right? It's like, let's say you're talking to someone and it bothers you that he's still making a show. Like, this is still the scripted version. Like, I don't want the scripted version. I want, give me some, right? Like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get you off of that, right? Let me see some real energy.
Look.
Right? Let me see some real energy. So, because Eretz is so far away, he wants Mayim. Mayim is Chochmah. He wants what's real, and that's it. He can never get enough of it. Why? Because he's in a place of Chitzonius. Wherever he turns is baloney. So he wants Mayim. So that's why Eretz leisova Mayim. That's the word from the Tzemach Tzedek. Pirush Mayim nikra bechinas hashpa melmayta lemato. That's hamchadish betuvei. So it's the chesed from the Eibishter. It's ad lamaylo, skipping the parentheses again. Oh, where is it? Yeah. The Talmud, yeah. It's about 12 lines from the top. The Talmud, Bechinazu, this inyan of Eretz, this part of the person that feels so low, he bitzimoin lamayla lemekere v'shosha. He nizgov shmei levado. It right. The aim shmei is beyond the world. Rak hoydei v'zivay shel shmei al eretz. Only ha'ara ba'alma, and the eretz doesn't want ha'ara ba'alma. V'hi loy sava. It's not satisfied. Rak tomid hi b'mchinas simoin zeh. Why? Ki bein seif baruchu, ki shmei keinu. The Eibishter is ein seif, ein lei seif, ein lei tichla, lei shayach svia. The Talmud calls ha'elam is baruch l'davka bein mamash. He wants to connect to the Eibishter. Ki yu chaya, chayim baruchu mekere de keila. The Eibishter is the maker of everything. V'cheinu gam kein benefesh ha'adam lemata. By a yid, hamaskel, lesem mizbein enes ba'ashem echad, when a person davens, and he's mizbein in the Eibishter Eichshu, is baruch hamachadish b'tu v'chulu. Umehave kol ha'il misma'ayin liyesh mamash, asher al kein, he gam kein b'chines eretz. It becomes, the eretz becomes fire. The eretz becomes rotzui. V'rotzoin, b'chinas tzimoin, shem yesed ha'eish. You can't quiet the dafka be'yizbarech ol ha'avas Hashem ki yu chayecha. V'lachein le'sava b'chinas mayim manal, and that's also v'zel v'gam ha'nefesh le'tamali. In that pasuk where it says that three things can never be satisfied, one of them is the nefesh. And like it says in Medrash Rabbah, she'anefesh yedas kol ma shehi amal la'atzma hi amela. It knows that everything that it does, it's for itself. Lakach eina sveya, it's never enough. Le'teira, le'masim tovim, and so to Medrash Rabbah, Kehelis, kol anchanim elchem al-yam, v'ayam einenu molei, that there's always room for more. There's a...
It's pretty depressing.
There's a biur here. I'm just thinking about the... I think from the Mittler Rebbe about this nekuda about the earth becoming fire, and the eretz becomes fire.
Or the fire created eretz. There's a lot of land created by fire. Volcanoes.
So. The word from the Mittler Rebbe is.
You said that before the Dalai Ruchis, maybe
it goes into what he's saying now.
In the earth.
That, and it's connected really to the mind of Venigla that we learned. This Maimer, he draws a contrast between Zman HaGolus and Zman HaGeula. Beis Gimel, he begins, what's going to be when Mashiach comes? La'aseh like in Venigla, that the Daled Yesodis are going to reverse. So now we're Ofor, Eish, the way he's building it out. So the Mittel Rebbe, the Olam Haza is Helen. The Eibishter is hidden in the world. Right? Olam Miloshin Helen, it's concealment. The Yesh HaGashmi is an obstacle to Elikus. And the Yesh HaGashmi is an obstacle in two ways. Number one, that it declares itself its own Metzius. Like as if Mitziyusei Me'atzmusei, it denies that it has a creator. That's one inyan. The second thing is, it draws our connection. We become attached to Gashmius, so we're not interested in Ruchnius. If someone puts in front of us, it's like the parents who tell you, I raised my kids, they don't eat candy. They don't eat candy. They won't even touch it. They only eat carrots and celery.
In front of you.
Right? Then we'll come, let's try it in Shul. We're going to put out a plate of mash.
Yes, like the vegan dogs.
Right? What happened? Again, finished. Right? In other words, what our Avos Hashem, connection to the Eibishter, I want Gashmius. So this, the Izbaininus, the Eretz Izbaininus is, wait a second, don't look at the world and say, the world is Helen, Eretz is Helen. I can't. No, if I can't. The concealment, the earth, that becomes the foundation for the Tzimoy. Embrace. Right? Take it in. Don't make believe it's not existent and I'm a holy man. And that's the instrument to open up that we should and the fire, the tzimoin, is what brings the water. That's the word of the Mittel Rebbe. Water is a gift. We can't. What did he say before? Water is hashpa molmaila lamata. What does it mean? We say tefillah is molmata lamaila, and Torah is molmaila lamata. What does it mean? Torah is molmaila lamata. It means that Torah will gift you. If you do avodah in Eretz,
technically, in order to exist, you don't need Torah. From that
no,
point of view, or it's
whatever ruchnias dika achievements we want, what do? We bring water, but we're not interested. You take the kid, you say, come, let's learn. Learn is the größte Sache. Torah is the beste Schleure. You finish the day, he's like, I'm never coming back. What do you mean? Toivli, we're going to sing Toivli. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Yeah, because you need the Eretz and the Eish before. When you have the Eretz and the Eish before, right, why is it? Remember I told you this, I was sitting by a table, I went to Montreal for Shabbos to the campus to Man. Yeah, to Shlomo Man. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Chabad on campus on Peel Street.
Oh, okay.
Now there's Shmuley Weiss. Before Shmuley Weiss, there was he's like a friend of Ronnie Fine.
That's right.
Right? Shlomo Man. What's the name of the school?
McGill.
All right, McGill University, Shkoyach, yeah?
Yeah, I went to Weiss.
Many years ago. I went for a few times. So this fellow, I don't know, he's about Shuvah, him and his wife, and he told us a story. He said, you ever saw the video of Shpizin?
Yeah.
He says, in the video of Shpizin, you have like two crazy guys. That was me. He was in the Israeli army. They arrested him. Like he getan wilde Sachen. Like he was on the army base, he couldn't do anything. So whatever, they were going out for maneuvers, for this, for that, and that's it. He had to just stay on base. So on the base there was a shul, a tent, basically with svarim. He didn't have what to do, so he went inside, and he found a Tanya. He read a Tanya, and he read a Perek Tanya. It changed his life. It changed his life. I was sitting at the table. He tells the story, and his wife was sitting with and she says, "The same thing happened to me. The same thing happened to me." Meaning, she read a Perek Tanya, and right. Oh, so I'm saying I don't understand. I also lived a Perek Tanya. Well, I didn't get it. What happened?
You weren't locked on
Me?
base.
I don't know. The whole Masif, the Ole Torah. What happened? But what's out there? This is the word that Mittler Rebbe says. The Mayim has to have.
Foundation.
There's a space that there has to be a fire. There has to be thirst. When there's eretz, a person recognizes he's the farthest away, and then he has a yearning. He wants to connect, and now he comes to Fabrengen and he sees the Rebbe.
Compare this Shiur to
That's it. He's caught. That's it. One Fabrengen. One man. That's it. Nidlak, right? You get the one Perek Tanya, and that's right. That's where he's continuing. Now you'll see what he's going to say. That we have a problem. There's a Helen Vehester, and for some reason it's not. It's a chapzich nicht zu. What's going on?
Appreciate the Helen Hester for what it is.
Yeah. No? You want a little sushi? What?
No, I'm not a big fan of sushi. Just the vegetable sushi.
Okay, just vegetables. Can
Some avocado.
No, thank you.
No, too much fish.
Drink?
I'll drink out this steak,
Dr. Azay, Beyeis Hanesham Melubeshes Belavush Aguf Agashmi. V'nimshach Acher in Yonim Gashmim Shebelam Azeh. So being that we're in a Guf Gashmi and there's an attachment, I'm using attachment in the psychological sense. The Gashmis. So the Guf and the Eidom are malimim umastirim. No. I didn't. They're malimim umastirim al kedushas nafshi. Yeah. To Eidom meloshen helim shelo
There's a
yispoil.
big price for this detour.
Lo yispoil v'lo yis.
This edit it's a big price.
Yeah. Lo yispoil v'lo yislahid b'nafshi. Lias bechinas rotzen v'tzimoin u'tshuka murgeshes b'nefesh keika. What's the helam v'hester? That there shouldn't be a tzimoin. There shouldn't be a yearning. Yeah.
But there's no regesh, so
V'zel gamkein pirush. That's also the meaning of ha'elam nasam b'libam. Before he said ha'elam nasam b'libam that we have dalad yesodis in us. Now he's saying ha'elam nasam b'libam that there's helam. Lashon helam. Hine al zeh nemar v'zeh shmi la'olam, that it's hidden in the world. Al zeh nemar pakadet ha'aretz v'ateshoike keha. Pakadet ha'asher means that the Eibishter he watered the earth, and when he watered the earth, he created a yearning. He made a tshuka. Pakadet ha'aretz. You awakened in it a tshuka. Yeah. Amraz Abashir Ashirim Rabba Apostle Zeh, the Ein Shukasan Shal Yisroel Ella La'aviyam Shabashamayim. How does this happen? Behind him, Ayidei Pakadata Eretz Bekudas Eretz. Bekudas Eretz is also mitzvahs. The Bekudim Ramach Bekudim. Hainu a mitzvahs Shei Bekudei Hashem. Ki ha-mitzvahs hein im shachis meiratzen ha'elyon. Raiva the kol raivim. It's the pnimius ha'ratzen. It's the inner will of everything. Sheidish ha-mitzvahs hu bechinas chesed. The avas Hashem Eleinu. Why did Hashem give us mitzvahs? Because He loves us. U'kamesha kosu v'hafti eschem omer Hashem. Asher alkein tzivonu ha-mitzvahs ha'ila liyois v'yeminoi t'chapkeni. The Eibishter's right arm will embrace us. Zeu kamayim aponim leponim. What's the recip? That it's reciprocal. Shal yidei kiyum ha-mitzvahs. Shehei mibchinas mayim elyonim. U'lamayla mibchinas hayam. Shari hayam mibchinas mayim tachtoinim shemitachas l'rokia. Forgot that it's Alma Diaskasia, but still in Yadua, Yisroel Berecheshech, that Bria is Helam and Alma Diaskasia, just like Machshava. Yetzirah is Alma Diasgalia Bechinas Dibur. And Kol Zeh, Machshava and Dibur are Mitachas L'Rakia. And they're beneath the Parsa, Sheben Atzilas L'Bria. Aval HaMitzvahs, Shehem Bechinas Atzilas. Hey, Mayim Al Yoinim Shemei Al L'Rakia. V'zeu yarif kamotar likchi, that by the Eibishter it's likchi, it's my Torah, that it comes like motor. Ayidei zeh, through mitzvahs, mis'eirer gamkein benefesh ha'odom rotzna elyon shebenefesh ma'avas Hashem. That's where our avas Hashem becomes reawakened. That we start yearning again. And that's the Loshen Gam, Pakadito Loshen Pekidas Akora. To impregnate. The Yidden in Zman Agolos, the Alter Rebbe will explain, Meshkos of Hashem Poka L'Sora, K'mayim Razal, Zman She'im Beis HaMikdash Kayom, Nikra Kreses Yisroel B'Shem Akoro Lo Yolodo. Tahainu, She'ein Lo B'chinas Leido V'Yizgalos Ha'aval Hashem. We can't, everything stays inside. Our Avos Hashem can't come out. It's not revealed. And that's what our Torah is. It allows the release of Avos Hashem. Al-Dovers on this theme, and before we daven, mamshichim olav mitzvahs Hashem, betalos tefillin. What Alter Rebbe is saying is, you want davening to be fruitful. You want Ava and Yira to be Bizgalus when you daven. So you have to do mitzvahs before. That's why you put on tefillin, you put on a talis. That's the mitzvahs that we do that will allow for the davening to have a revealed Avos Hashem. Shakol tefillah, the point of davening is to give birth. Leidas hamoichin, that our brain should work. And there's chevle leido, that it should give birth, there's pains, birth pains. And he says over here that when a woman gives birth, she has to cry out 70 times. There's 70 koilis. Chevle leido are the viduyim of slach lonu. And we say yamcha. We say yamcha. So there's 70 words in the yamcha. And maybe there's 70 words in something else in Tachnun. There's 70 words. Why? Because it's through our thinking that it reveals. That it causes Avos Hashem. Nasa bechinas nefesh ekeka mimata lamayla b'tfila, that in davening we become thirsty for the Eibishter, because the kudas milmayla lamata v'atasheka mimata lamayla ayideze rabas ta'asreno peleg alekim moli mayim, that it'll be revealed, that the Ava will be revealed. Will be mafsik here.
I was thinking,